Hello, everybody. If you can hear me, type something in the comments for me. This is always a fun thing to test my setup every time I go live. So help me out. Say you can hear me in the comments. That would be amazing. How have you guys been? Welcome to the launch party for Blood for Blood. So excited to see you guys here. So we'll give people a few minutes to trickle in. I know being on time is not my favorite thing either. So give people a few minutes to come in before we start talking about stuff and giving out the goodies. But I'm glad you guys are here tonight. Thank you for coming. Oh, good. My mic is working. Thank you for telling me. So how has everybody's Friday been? Has it been good? Where I am, it's been cold and windy, but it's getting to be that season, I suppose. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and dive into book stuff, if you're all cool with that. We are here today to celebrate the release of the second book in the Disc Chronicles series, which is a little bit overdue, if I'm being honest. I came out with the first book in the series, which is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi series. I came out with the first book called First Carrier back in 2020, September 2020, which was a fun time to release a debut novel, for the record. And everybody's freaking out about pandemics. So yeah, I released the first one a couple years ago, and we're here today to celebrate finally the release of Blood for Blood, which is the second installment in the series. What I'd love to do is just kind of get people up to speed with what First Carrier was about without spoilers. Promise, no spoilers. But First Carrier is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi novel that focuses on two sisters, Ren and Survivor, and they're just trying to stay alive in this desert wasteland. They're very different people. And in a way, and we'll talk about this later when I get to talking about the characters in the series, they kind of function as foils of one another. So they're very different. And what happens to these girls, these ladies, is they end up being taken captive to the biggest city in this post-apocalyptic wasteland. The city is called the Disc. They're taken prisoners there because one of the sisters, Survivor, ended up getting a little greedy and taking the hand of somebody she shouldn't have to eat for dinner. It's that kind of wasteland, at least at that point in the book. So they get taken to the city and adventure ensues, I suppose. They meet a guy named Castor, who is the son of the ruler. The ruler of the city is named Thallium. He's very power hungry for all the remaining kind of civilizations that are still around the Disc, that are smaller villages and towns and stuff like that. And he wants more power, as men sometimes do. So yeah, it centers around them and kind of this power struggle. And the big surprise for Ren and Survivor is finding out that Ren is actually not entirely human. She has some abilities, some lost technology in her DNA that Thallium really wants to take advantage of. And so we see that kind of power struggle when they are brought into the city. Yeah, and I won't tell you exactly how it ends, but I'll recap it a little bit. Again, without spoilers if I can. So we'll get there in a second. What I'll talk about first is what it was like writing Blood for me. Just because I know it's been a couple years and you guys have been waiting very patiently, which is so much appreciated. You guys have been nothing but encouraging for the last couple of years as I've been endeavoring to finish this novel and get it out to you guys and get it in your hands. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you for that. And it's been a cool experience putting out a book and then now putting out the second book to see your guys' really positive reactions. Anywho, I'm gushing on you, but let's move on. It's been challenging to find time to write Blood for Blood just because as everybody is busy, I'm busy too. I'm a full-time mom, stay-at-home mom. I've got other jobs, other responsibilities. And so this book here, this sequel saw me writing late into the wee hours of the night or the morning, depending on how you look at it. And sometimes I'd even have to run off to a friend's house when they were out of town to kind of squat in their house so I could have a few solid hours in a row to write or a day to write, to make sure that I made the time that needed to be made to make this book the best it could be. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I hope you guys are too. It was also challenging emotionally this time around. I've got some new characters, which is fun, but also some returning characters and some characters that we'll end up saying goodbye to. No spoilers, but yeah, that made me kind of sad, of course, as I'm writing. I've grown attached to these people who have lived in my head for the last several years. So that was definitely different too. um, yeah, and it was also really fun seeing the characters. You've got Ren and Survivor and Castor, and then some fan favorites that I know that you guys are really excited about going in kind of their own directions this time around in Blood for Blood. Their stories are still, of course, interconnected, but everybody really had a journey of their own. I wanted to do that in this book. So you get to see a little bit more backstory from certain characters that maybe didn't get a lot of screen time last time around. And that was fun. And I hope that you're into that too. Yeah, so it's been a cool experience. As far as what happened by the end of Blood for Blood, Ren is in a tight spot, literally and figuratively. And you'll see those abilities of hers that I mentioned earlier on kind of change and evolve. And you might see her also starting to resist them a little bit. That's kind of her big struggle in this book. And then Survivor is out in the open. The open is the term for anything that's outside of the disc, in the outlands, the wasteland, the desert. And she is separated from her sister, which is not a place that they like to be. And she's looking for a way to ensure her sister's future and to free her from where she is stuck in the disc right now. And then Castor, who I mentioned earlier, he's the son of the power-hungry ruler, Thallium. He's leading a secret rebellion against his father. And he's hoping to remove him from power before everyone in the open kind of tears down their walls for things that happened in the first book. Lots of people are looking for revenge against Thallium. Yeah, so you'll see lots of returning characters, lots of fan favorite characters, I think. And you're also going to see some new ones come around that, again, I hope you're into. It was fun crafting new characters this time around. Yeah, it's always an adventure to create someone entirely new. Another thing that I really enjoyed about writing Blood for Blood is looking at time in a little bit of a different way, where I was able to go, First Carrier is pretty linear, but we did get a few flashbacks, whereas Blood for Blood, it has a linear storyline, but we also get to go further into the past and look at Itis in particular and her past, because she's been living a long time, and we get to see when she was around before what I call the fall of technology, which is when the world collapsed, the apocalypse, and kind of see a little bit of behind the mystery of what happened to Earth in the first place. Yeah, really fun to play with time that way, and I hope you guys enjoy those flashbacks and getting to learn more about what happened to this world to make it the way it is now. So we'll get a lot of time inside the disc. You'll see a lot of stuff going on with kind of Castor's rebellion and what Thallium's going through, and of course what Ren's going through in the disc, but we also get to look outside the disc a lot, because that's where Survivor is, and that's where a lot of what I'm calling the openers are, who are getting ready to rebel against the disc as well. And so hence my little catchphrase for this book has been, war is coming, right? And the cost will be blood for blood. And so that's where that war idea is coming from, is all these people around the disc who really are not happy. So if you guys are up for it, I'm going to go ahead, and some of you might have seen this already, some of you might have not. I premiered the Blood for Blood book trailer during my last live event, but I know that not everybody was able to attend that. And then you guys might not all be on my newsletter. So this is the Blood for Blood book trailer that I got for this book. And it's pretty exciting. I haven't done a book trailer before. I'm happy with the way it turned out. I hope you guys are excited about it too. But I thought we might look at that if you don't mind. Okay, I hope you enjoy. Alma warned me about the disc. She said that monsters live there that lock you up and make you a slave, or they kill you while other monsters watch. She was right. After everything that's happened, I know something else. Monsters are everywhere, and I'm one of them. Don't mind my outdated launch date at the end of that video. Hope you guys dug that. It was pretty fun to put together. Yes, that is my voiceover, which is not my preference, but it is what it is. So hopefully it wasn't too bad for you guys. Um, yeah, really fun putting that together. And I hope it gives you an idea a little bit of the atmosphere of this book and what I was going for. And yeah, kind of the action aspect of it and the seriousness of it, at least in my mind, for what's going on. So we are at a launch party, and what would a launch party be without swag, without prizes and fun stuff? So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my first piece of swag. Everybody gets this. I think it's cool. So looking at that video, the trailer for Blood for Blood, for me, it's always fun to see a story or a book, I should say, in a different format as well, just to see how that is interpreted and how things like video clips and audio clips can make you feel and kind of give the whole reading experience a deeper meaning, I guess, or at least a different meaning, maybe not deeper. But I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys a Spotify playlist that I put together just for you. I put this together because I want you to kind of get a sense of the music that I was listening to, often on repeat, when I was working on this book. So these, I'm going to go ahead and post it in the chat. You'll be able to access this here whenever you want. Yeah, it's cool. And that'll, again, I hope it gives you another level, another layer to experience the story and these characters. A lot of those songs might represent specific characters to me, or the emotions of a scene or something like that. But these were the really big songs, the major songs. I mean, my playlist is super long for writing, but this is like, these are the main songs that I really listen to with Blood for Blood. So I hope you enjoy them. Yay, I love writer music. Me too. How can I not? So I hope you guys enjoy that. Listen to it at your leisure. Let me know what you think. Or if there are any tracks that you would put on that playlist, go for it. And then there's another piece of digital swag here that I want to give out. One thing I'll go ahead and show you is this is the cover of Blood for Blood. This is the shiny version. This is the limited edition version that I'll get into talking about a little later. But you can see I'm really pleased with the cover. And a little bit of backstory behind the cover. I have a really wonderful friend who's an artist and designed the art and the cover for Blood for me. His name is James Schlaven. Shout out to James Schlaven. And he did the cover art for First Carrier as well. There's that guy. And what was a challenge with this one for him is that I had originally intended to make this book series a trilogy. And then I got to talk with him about it. And we kind of planned out all three of these book covers as far as what we wanted, really kind of what we wanted on each one, and how they were going to play into each other and what we wanted it to look like. And then I threw him a curveball. And I said, James, I'm actually going to probably have 4 books instead of 3. So therefore, we had to kind of put together this cover for book 2. Basically, what I had to do was split book 2 into 2, because otherwise it was going to be this giant tome and it wasn't going to come out until too late, in my opinion. I wanted to get something out to you guys. So we did kind of split it in half. And here's the new cover he came up with. I'm so pleased with it. Thank you, James, for putting up with me and being able to be so adaptable. He's awesome. Shout out to James. So yeah, pretty cover art. Very on the nose, but that's kind of how we wanted it. One thing that I did want to mention about the cover, so on First Carrier, you've got this kind of more organic feel. You can see how the color here of this DNA strand that kind of represents Ren is more orangey red, kind of like a natural red hair tone color. So it was all meant to feel pretty organic, and this was going to feel kind of like her hair. And then the white line, the really sharp one here, is representing Survivor. Again, their personalities are very different. The lines are very different to represent them. And then on Blood for Blood, we're going for almost more of, I don't know, a medical feel, I guess. And you can see if you get the paperback or even look at the ebook cover real close up, You're going to see a lot of details in here about how this DNA that was together, very tightly wound together on first carrier, is now kind of starting to split apart. These sisters are separated, right? And stuff is starting to go south. Here where you see this big breakage and the splatter and a lot of the stuff that's going on in the book. So to me, it's really deep. I know that it doesn't look like it on the surface. It looks like DNA, which is cool. But yeah, to me, there's a deeper subtext there, and I hope you guys enjoy this cover. Again, thank you, James. If you do like the cover and you want to see it more often, here's some digital swag for you. So I put together a little desktop wallpaper for you guys that is made from the cover art that spans the entirety of the paperback. So not just this front part, but the stuff that goes onto the back too. And it's hard to see on camera, but there are strands here as well. So I'll go ahead and put that link for you guys to download it. It's on a secret page of my website so that only you guys can see it. You can go there and yeah, download it if you want to. Okay. And FYI, the biggest swag item, in my opinion, is going to come at the end of the live stream today. So if you have time and you want to stick around to grab that, you may do so. But yeah, that more swag is coming. But first, we're going to give out some prizes too. So a little bit about the prizes. I have to give a disclaimer. None of these prizes are associated with YouTube in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. They're associated with me and me alone. What else? Let's see. When I'm giving out a paperback, anybody, including international folks, are eligible for those. But a couple of the other prizes are just for U.S. residents only, and that's merely because of shipping issues or Amazon putting limitations on me and other things like that. So feel free to enter. Let's see, my friend Melissa is going to be assisting me. She's hanging out with us in the live stream today. She's going to be our prize guru. So if she's going to select the winners randomly, and then she's going to announce in the chat who has won each prize. If you win a prize during the lunch party, email me either now or right after the event so that I can get your contact information and get your prize over to you post haste. So here's my email. Put it in the chat. So use this, send me an email, and I will get your prize sent your way. Your contact info. Okay, we'll go ahead and do the first prize. I'm excited. So I showed you guys this guy. Here is a paperback of First Carrier. And I'll show you this version here because this one is signed by me. So if you are interested in First Carrier, say you haven't read the first book of the series and you're here and you're awesome to be here, but you haven't read this first book yet, you can enter right now to win this paperback sent straight to your doorstep, signed by me. It's all fresh and has that new book crisp to it. If you are interested in entering to win this paperback, what you need to do is in the chat, because we've been talking about this Blood for Blood trailer, this video, and the music, and the things that kind of can add layers to literature. If you think, tell me, enter in the chat to enter to win this prize. If you think Blood for Blood and the Disc Chronicles as a whole could be made into a TV show or a movie someday, if you would like to see that. Bonus points, brownie points, if you tell me the name of an actor or somebody that you think would be really good for a particular role in that show. So yeah, if you're interested in entering to win this paperback, participate in the chat. Let me know what you think about the Disc Chronicles, I guess, TV show. I don't know. I think book series are better made into TV these days. There's a lot more freedom and creativity there, I think, to dive deeper into characters. So again, my buddy Melissa is going to take care of you prize people and pay attention to the chat, see if you win. While you guys are doing that, I wanted to talk a little bit about the setting of both this series and Blood for Blood. So for those of you who don't know, this series is set in the state of New Mexico. Yeah, a lot of the places are real places that have been adapted in my brain into a post-apocalyptic version of those places. What would New Mexico look like if a lot of things went to heck and the apocalypse happened? As far as the details of what exactly happened, I won't get into the nitty-gritty of that there right now, but it's based in New Mexico. And sometimes you see this in obvious ways. You see it in the ecosystem shown, the wildlife, but also in Easter eggs, especially in First Carrier. I put a lot of Easter eggs in there. They're small, but if you're paying attention, you might be able to catch them. And I released a short story between First Carrier and Blood for Blood called The Waters of Kino that features two of the characters from the series, Asha and Gavel. They're a husband and wife duo, and they met. The Waters of Kino is about how they met. And again, that looks at a different area in New Mexico in this post-apocalyptic fictional realm. Blood for Blood goes a step further, I'd say. Many of the places that you see in the book are real places that you can visit right now, today, if you wanted to, which is kind of fun. But yeah, you're going to see stuff like, the wildlife, the weather in Blood for Blood. It's a little different from First Carrier. In First Carrier, we're all about the heat, the desert. It's hot, it's sunny, it's miserable. And while it is still all those things, it's a little bit different now, where Blood for Blood is making this shift toward winter. And winter is coming is my joke. So it's starting to get really cold in this really harsh environment, this desert environment. And if you've ever been to New Mexico, lived here, or visited during winter, we definitely have all of the seasons here. And winter can be really harsh and cold and dry. The dry aspect of it kind of compounds everything to me and makes it a lot more brutal. You're starting to see that in Blood for Blood. And just like with the heat of First Carrier, these kind of weather aspects are taken to their extreme, right? It's either really, really hot or really, really cold. And we're starting to see that shift toward cold, and that's been fun too. What else do you get to see? This to me was fun. If you paid attention in First Carrier, I had green chili make an appearance in there, make a cameo. And a lot of people, it resonated with, like international people who hadn't even been like to New Mexico, like sometimes not even the United States, but certainly not New Mexico, and they hadn't heard about green chili. And a lot of people I know in the States don't know what I'm talking about either. So I kind of had a cameo for green chili in First Carrier, and then I have a cameo of red chili in Blood for Blood. We'll circle back to that in just a second. I wanted to show you guys a couple of pictures of the places, the real places that are featured in Blood for Blood, because I think it's fun. This first one here, I'll mainly focus on where Survivor is in the book, because she is out in the open. Like I said, she's not in the disc so much in this book. And where she is the area around Carlsbad Caverns. I don't know if anybody has visited Carlsbad Caverns. A lot of people come there every single year, and it's an amazing, amazing cavern system that is kind of world renowned. And a long time ago, many moons ago, I went to Carlsbad. I've been there several times, but I went there actually to do writing research with a friend, and it was for a different book that shall not be named that has since died a death. Anywho, but I was able to use a lot of that on-site research and experience to craft a lot of the stuff that Survivor goes through in this book, and to really make those settings realistic, and kind of come to life. I hope that you guys think they're cool. But I want to show you a couple of pictures. So this way, when you read Blood for Blood, you'll be able to kind of visualize even more. This is a real place, and yeah, this is what it might look like in a post-apocalyptic sense. So I will show you this first one. That's me, again, many moons ago. In the background here, you can see the cavern. That's the big entrance, the main entrance of Carlsbad Caverns. And you see this really snazzy little amphitheater up here. Both of these make an appearance in the book. And yeah, it's really interesting to go down that path and go into the caverns. You can see me being so studious. Let's see. And then this is another aspect, or another area around Carlsbad Caverns. It's called Slaughter Canyon. Nothing horrible happened there that I know of. It's actually named after the gentleman who discovered it. Last name of Slaughter, I believe. I went on a Slaughter Canyon cave tour as well. And there are some amazing, just like in Carlsbad Caverns, the proper caverns, this other place, Slaughter Canyon Cave, you have to hike up to. It's really, really high up, kind of steep and intimidating if you don't like heights like I don't. And on the inside, it's pretty remarkable in this smaller cave system, but still decent sized, what you get to see. And one of these cave formations in there is ironically called the Klansman. I'll show him to you now. And yeah, you'll see why that's ironic if you read the book. But he's pretty creepy. A lot of people describe him as a skull with a hood over his face. And this guy is featured at one pretty key scene, at least in Survivor's story in the book. So I wanted to show you guys, these are real things. Not everything, but a lot of the things that I'm featuring, especially in Survivor's plotline in this book, are real and they're really cool. And if you ever have the opportunity, you can come take your own Slaughter Canyon Cave tour and see the Klansman and a bunch of other really cool formations. The Klansman as well has been featured, this guy, in a bunch of different Hollywood movies, even like movies from way back in the day that I have not seen. But I think that that's pretty interesting. Anybody else think he's creepy? In a good way, maybe? I think so. But I think, guys, we'll go ahead and go back to that red and green chili idea. So if you've never had red or green chili before, first of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, it's really an amazing, quintessentially New Mexican thing. Like, it's red chili, green chili, and our state question is red or green, and the best answer is both. But what I wanted to show you guys, I have a prize here for you, especially for those of you either who have never experienced New Mexican flavors like this, or people, maybe you're from New Mexico and you're really hard up for some chili. You could definitely enter to win this prize too, but I wanted to show it to you. So it's this guy. We've got this is red chili powder. This can be used in a variety of ways. You can use it either it goes really well in anything that's tomato based, like a marinara or anything like that. Soup's really awesome. You can even put it on popcorn. I like to do that. And then you can also make straight up red chili sauce from it, which is what you see in Blood for Blood. Yeah, this prize will include this guy and these, which is green chili. Let's see. There we go. Diced green chili, hot, both from Hatch, New Mexico, because that's the main place to get your chili. And if you're interested in trying those, I also have a recipe to go with the red chili powder I've come up with from my own. I kind of took my own red chili sauce recipe and tweaked it so that you could actually make it from red chili powder. Typically, I use frozen red chili, but we don't need to mess with that. So yeah, you guys can taste this if you enter to win this prize. Okay, so if you are interested in winning the chili, then go ahead and type in the chat. You can either choose, say, red, green, or the best answer when you're asking for both is Christmas. So if you're ever in New Mexico and you want to seem like a real New Mexican, and they ask you at a restaurant, would you like red or green? You can say Christmas, and you will blend right in. So if you're interested in that prize, enter in the chat and tell me if you want red, green, or Christmas, and somebody's going to win some chili and my recipe for red chili sauce. So that's pretty cool. It's a relatively well-protected recipe, just saying. Well, while you guys enter that, I'm going to drink some water. So another aspect that I want to talk about real quick, other than the setting of this book that I got really excited about, is the character aspect of Blood for Blood and the series as a whole. One thing that was really interesting when I started putting these books out, First Carrier came out a couple of years ago, is everybody's reaction, or a lot of people's reaction, to the characters and how they're pretty complex. They're actually really human. And what's interesting about that is, for me as a writer, is reading these comments and seeing they actually like that these characters are complex and it's not like the bad guy and there's the good guy. My feeling is that they're all authentically human, and humans are complicated, and not one human is all bad or all good or all anything. There are lots of aspects that influence who we are and how we act and the decisions we make. I've got, for what it's worth, which may not be much these days, I've got a psychology degree with my creative writing degree stuff. And so that aspect of writing and character-driven story has been very important to me. So that's an aspect that I was really excited to see you guys get excited about when you started reviewing First Carrier. And thank you if you've reviewed First Carrier. Helps me so much. Yeah, is how these characters are very human, I guess. And as an example, if you haven't, especially if you haven't read the series before, but even if you have, I wonder what your opinion is. When we look at Ren and Survivor, the sister duo who I mentioned earlier are kind of foils of one another. When I first started writing this series several years ago, I kind of got this vision in my head. Anyone who has seen the classic, the original Lord of the Rings movies, um, Peter Jackson's movies, I should specify, not the animated ones from before. Anyone who's seen the Peter Jackson movies probably remembers that scene with Gollum and Smeagol where the camera is working in such a way where it looks like they're talking like face to face with one another, but really they're these two personalities in the same body. And they're very different, right? Smeagol is this kind of submissive, even in a way, innocent character. And then Gollum is just really harsh and really controlling. And they play off of each other in an interesting way. And so everybody that I've talked to views Survivor, who is one of the sisters in the story, slightly differently. I've seen extremes where my editor referred to her as abusive. Fair enough. And then I've had other people, other reviewers just kind of call her, she's really amazing. She's strong. And then all sorts of things in between. So it's fun to see how different people view the same character. She in particular is a little, causes some controversy, I guess. So what I want to share with you guys, because I get into the psychology aspect of it, and I think characters are so interesting, and that's really where our stories are, especially if you're talking about post-apocalyptic fiction for me. It has to be about people. It can't just be everything is dark and depressing and the world is broken and yeah. There have to be really interesting people, and there have to be stories that people that we care about, right? They're making really great decisions, or complicated decisions, I should say, when you are kind of resorting to your basic needs. I need to be alive. I need food. I need shelter. I need companionship. And what does humanity do when that happens? So what I want to show you guys first is I'm going to give you a link because I think it's fun. If you don't want to do it, that's okay. Has anybody here heard of the Myers-Briggs Typology Indicator? That's the fancy name for it. This guy a long time ago came up with a pretty cool psychology test that has the different, he says that everybody is one of 16 personalities. I don't know if that's exactly true, but still fun. And I found my personality result to be very accurate, and I've taken this test in various versions of it multiple times, and my result, I should say, is always the same. So there's some level of reliability there. Some of you might have taken a version of the MBTI before. This is a free version of it. It's not associated with the MBTI, okay? Don't come at me. But here is it's called the 16 Personalities Test. It's free online, and you answer these questions kind of on a sliding scale of strongly agree and strongly disagree. And it's not too long. It's a pretty decent length version of the quiz. I did this last launch party too. I sent this out because it was really fun, and I think you guys really enjoyed it. I got to talk to you about your results, and that was fun. So I wanted to do it again, but I also wanted to show you what I made here. So here is the 16 personality results with different characters from the books. So take that quiz at your leisure, that personality quiz. But if you are curious about the characters, maybe you already know who you are according to Myers-Briggs, you can check this out. And yeah, it's pretty fun. If you're curious, I am apparently Sans. I'm an INFJ, have been forever. Yeah, and the other people I've talked to, especially friends and family, have told me their result, and they're pretty pleased with it. It's pretty accurate. I didn't set out to write a book that had all of these 16 personalities in it, but it just kind of happened that way. And it was fun to explore. Yeah, I took the quiz a lot of times as with my head in these characters' minds. And these are the results that I got. Pretty fun. Let me know who you are. And if you do let me know who you are, you might win a prize. Let's see, put this up on here. There we go, so you can still see it. So if you are interested in a prize, I'm going to show you an item that I'm going to give away, which is kind of similar to a certain character in the book. It has something to do with her. This here is a DNA necklace that Ren kind of is epitomized in my opinion. If you are interested in winning this little DNA necklace, all you have to do is enter by telling me in the chat which character you think you're most like. Either you know your Myers-Briggs results already, or just who you think you're most like. So, there are no wrong answers here. But tell me a name of a character that you think you are like in the chat to enter to win that DNA necklace. And I'll show it again because it's shiny. Ta-da! Okay, we'll go back so you guys can actually read these results. All right. While you guys look at that and enter to win, I wanted to show you a couple more things. I want to talk a little bit about the retail availability of this book. Right now, the ebook is available exclusively with Amazon. It'll be in Kindle Unlimited for a while. That's what I did with First Carrier. I'm not going to keep it in there indefinitely. So if you're really anti-Amazon, but you want the ebook, there are ways around it. But right now, it's exclusively available with Amazon. And the paperback is available with Barnes & Noble and Amazon as well. And then you can also find it at IndieBound. So that's a website for those who aren't familiar. You can go to this website and look up independent bookstores in your area. And then you can go there and order a copy of the book as well. And they'll order that for you, which is actually also really helpful for me because it shows them that, oh, somebody is actually interested in this book and cares about it. And that's always really helpful. So I will show you, I'll send you guys some links in the chat to those so that you can find them fairly easily. Come on, guys, show me your personality results. I'm really curious too. Even if you don't want the necklace, show them to me. Okay. And you'll also notice a couple of new character names. For those who have read First Carrier, you'll notice a couple of names have been swapped out here. If you can spot them, you get brownie points. Oh, we've got a Ren in the chat. We've got a survivor in the chat. I love that. And I'll go ahead and show you guys. Here's where the ebook is currently available if you want to find it. There's that guy. And you know what? I'll go ahead and after we've awarded that prize, I'll go ahead and give out an ebook. So get ready for that. I am curious too how many of you actually are really into reading ebooks, because I've had some surprising results when I've been polling readers through my mailing list. Most of you are really into paperbacks and love print, which I can empathize with a lot. That is me too. I love to hold a book. There's nothing like paper and the satisfaction of turning the pages and the smell, all that good stuff. All right, guys, we're going to move on to the ebook prize. So if you are interested in winning a Blood for Blood ebook, you can enter by telling me in the chat why you love ebooks. Is it the convenience factor, being able to carry the book around with you with like 100 other books on your e-reader? Is it what is it? Because I just can't. I've tried to get into them, but it's just not my favorite thing. So tell me what you guys like about ebooks to enter to win that ebook of Blood for Blood. And like I said, there's also a paperback version. If you are into audiobooks, here's the deal. There's an audiobook of First Carrier that's out, but there is not, as of now, an audiobook of Blood for Blood. There's a bunch of reasons for that. The main one being that, at least at the time when First Carrier came out, there wasn't a whole lot of interest in the audiobook overall compared to the other formats. So if that changes and that first carrier ebook starts going crazy and there's a lot of interest in people asking me for an audiobook of Blood for Blood, then I am more than happy to put that together. But as of now, it seemed like most of y'all are really into paper or ebooks. So I'm going to meet your needs, not my needs or my desires. So if you want that ebook, go ahead and enter and tell me just one thing that you love about ebooks in the chat. Don't be shy. And then the paperback is available. I'll go ahead and put these links in here. We've got Barnes and Noble. And then we have Amazon again. And I'll also include the link to the IndieBound so that you guys can check out that website if you haven't checked it out before. It's pretty neat. Okay. There's your IndieBound link. Now, while you guys are entering to win that, I would also like to share with you about this guy that I kind of previewed earlier. This shiny version here, you can see there's the matte first carrier, and there's a matte Blood for Blood, this is the regular paperback. It's matte, so it's kind of, smooth but non-shiny. And this is a shiny version that is the limited edition of Blood for Blood. So I wanted to tell you guys about it just in case you're interested. There are only 25 of these in print. There will only ever be 25 of these in print. And what makes it special, it's got the shiny cover. I didn't want to make it a hardback because I wanted it to still be able to sit kind of on your bookshelf with first carrier. Put them in the right order and look good there. There. So yeah, I wanted to not change it up too much, but I wanted it to be visually a little different from the regular Blood for Blood paperback so that it would feel special, because it is. See, on the inside, it says limited edition and all that good stuff. So a few of the aspects of this limited edition, my signature with a message that's personalized to the recipient will be inside each of these 25 copies. The 25 copies will be numbered, 1 out of 25, 2 out of 25, so forth, handwritten on the inside of the book. So you'll know exactly which number you got. I put together a special author's note that is not in the normal paperback for you guys in this limited edition, just to kind of get, again, a little bit more behind the scenes of what it was like to put this book together and the writing process and all that good stuff. It has a really cool, I think, never before seen short story featuring Sans and Adonis. They're two of the characters who are in First Carrier and Blood for Blood. And Sans kind of became a little bit of a fan favorite, which is cool because he's pretty darn quiet, little enigmatic. The cool thing about the short story in here is you get to see into his past, which has up until now been more or less a mystery. And again, nobody else right now has this short story. It's never been seen before. New release. I don't even think anyone really, can't remember if any family members have even read it. I don't think so. So yeah, it's a special short story. And you also get to see how Sans and Adonis met, which is a cool thing. They get to kind of go on their own little fun storyline adventure together in Blood for Blood. So this kind of adds a little more depth and context to their relationship. And then you'll also get to see some character art of Ren and Survivor. I was really pleased to see how these turned out. Again, we talked earlier about how getting to see literature in a different light of either through film or through song or something other than the written word is kind of cool. It's illuminating and it adds layers to that story. And it was cool for me to be able to see this character art get put together by a really cool artist. His name is Hugo Roberto, and he does some neat character art in a bunch of different styles. The style that I wanted for Ren and Survivor's character art for this book was a realistic sketch style, like black and white. We're not making it too frumpy or anything too over stylized, but kind of line sketching, really cool to me. So you get one picture of Ren and one picture of Survivor, both in kind of in scene from Blood for Blood. So you get to see a little bit of the setting around too. I was happy with how they turned out. Because you guys are at the launch party, I'll show you one. I mean, I'm not giving these out to everybody, but you guys can see one. If I can find it. Okay. See how well this shows up on camera. So here's a little preview. There's a Ren. And that setting will make sense if you read the book. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm excited about that limited edition. If you are excited about the limited edition, you can get it from me directly. That is the only way that you can get it. It's not available in a retail environment or anything like that. If you want it, it's $30 plus $5 shipping if you're in the US. And like I said, only 25 of these will ever exist. If you're interested, send me an email. I'll put my email in. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat again because it was a while ago that I put it in. Send me an email saying you want one. I just got an email today from my printer saying that they are finally on their way to my house, which I am excited about. Yeah. So they're coming. They're almost here. It's been one thing after another with printing this year. And I have talked to other authors who are also going through the same struggles, which I guess makes me feel a little bit better, but also a little irritated. Bear with me as I am bearing with the printing establishment. But those limited editions are on their way. And so as soon as they get in, for the orders that I already have, I will be personalizing them and signing them and shipping them off to you. So let me know if you want one. Send me an email, say, hey, I want one of those limited editions. And then when they get here, I'll send you a PayPal request and get it sent out post haste. All right. I want to go ahead and give away, this is kind of our last big prize here. I want to give away one of these limited editions today. Are you guys up for that? I think we have some print readers in the chat. If you're not entering to win, you're missing out. I know there's a few of you in the chat, so enter to win this guy here. And to do that, why don't you tell me, as opposed to ebooks, why you love print books? I love print books. Like I said, it is satisfying to actually feel the pages turning in your hands, and the smell of a new book is amazing. And it's really cool for me to be able to get, in that author capacity, be able to get books straight from the printer instead of books that are on a shelf at a bookstore that other people's hands have touched. I get these untouched brand new books, and that's pretty cool. And that's the book that you will get as well, except, you know, I touched this one, sorry. But if you want this limited edition one, signed and personalized by me, enter in the chat why you love print books. And I want to give one of these away, so do that, please. Okay, guys. Yeah, it was really cool putting that paperback together. It became very apparent to me that you guys, at least a lot of you, love print over ebooks. And I wanted to do something special for you. And while you guys are entering that as well, you guys can go ahead and feel free to ask me any questions you have about this series or the new book, my writing process. If you want that red chili recipe, go ahead and ask anything you want in the chat. Open Q&A time. If I don't get a bunch of questions, that's cool too. And I do have one final swag item to give out for everybody who attended today. So don't tune out just yet. Does anybody have a question for me? Let me know, and go ahead and keep entering to win that limited edition paperback. Tell me what you love about print. All right, I'm going to work on getting this last bit of swag sent out to you guys. Swag. When the red chili deal. Awesome. I will send you that recipe. I will handwrite it for you and put it in your package with your goodies. So I'll send that your way. You'll have to experiment with it for me and let me know what you think. I've been experimenting with it, so Yeah. Let me know what you think of it. And FYI, if you have never had red chili sauce before, my suggestion would be enchiladas. Put it over any burrito ever, all the burritos. Um, there are so many options. Make soup with it and add it into the soup. Yeah, it's good stuff. I'm glad you won that. I'm excited for you. So for everybody who has attended today, I am going to give you the ebook of First Carrier. I know a lot of you have already read it. That's cool. You can still use this link if you want to. If you have not read First Carrier, you get to catch up with this ebook because you showed up today and you're partying with me, and I appreciate you. I want to give you the ebook for the first book in the series. And that way you are ready to go for Blood for Blood. So you'll be all caught up. So I'm going to give you a link. This link here to download the ebook of First Carrier in whatever format you want is good until Monday. So you have all weekend to grab this freebie. On Monday, the link will go out. So make sure you grab it before Monday. I'm going to include it in the chat for you. Ta-da! I'm excited to give that to you guys. You deserve it for being here. I appreciate you so much. I like your reasons, guys, for paperbacks. I'm getting distracted because I'm reading all of your compliments about print, and I love it. Love the smell of books, old and new. They breathe history. Yes, they do. Paperbacks take me away from screens and help me unwind better. Yes, than being on an electronic device. That is awesome. Let's see. Really care about a story, it's got to be paper. Yep, absolutely. And then Matthew, I think you asked me if I like spicy food. Yes. Yes, I do. It's a problem because I've had to tone down my cooking for my family for sure. Or you make two versions. You make the spicy version and the non-spicy version. Yeah. It is an addiction. And I think that if you've never had, you guys who are trying this red and green chili, if you've never had it before, it might start an addiction for you. So I do apologize. But I agree. I love print too. Congratulations to everybody who won a prize. And I do hope that you guys also pick up that ebook of First Carrier. Well, if you guys have no questions for me, then I'll let you go. But I am here. I don't go live too often. I'm one of those hibernating author types, hermit. So if you want to ask me a question, now is an awesome time. And you can also always, if you think of one later, you can send me an email, madeleinemozley@gmail.com. I will answer your questions at that time as well. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this book. It was a journey for me to get here. And yes, book 3 is going to be coming your way. My hope is, again, within the next year, at most 2 years, which is what we ended up having to do with First Carrier to Blood for Blood. But in between now and then, I'm going to put a lot of stuff out for you guys to hold you over. So I put out, if you're part of my mailing list, I put out free short stories that are exclusive to my mailing list members. You'll get those every once in a while. I also do like some free ebooks and some other stuff every so often. So if you have not joined my mailing list, you should do that at my website. And that just keeps you up to date with everything that's going on. I know that it's kind of uncomfortable as a reader when you have no idea where the heck is my author that I want to read from? Where are they in this process of writing the next book that I want? And that mystery is frustrating. If anybody is a fan of George R. R. Martin or other authors who are really slow to write, I'm not as slow as George R. R. Martin, I promise. But it's frustrating, right? You've been waiting on this book for a long time. So if you join my author mailing list, you'll be kept in the loop on everything, and you'll get those kind of short story releases in between now and then to hold you over, get you some more stuff from the open, from the Disc Chronicles, looking into those characters and all that. Let's see, guys. When do I hope to publish the next book? You ask a really good question. No, I would hope at the most 2 years from right now, we're going to be having that book 3 in our hands. You know, we've all got to do what we do with life circumstances. and I will do my best. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do my late night writing sessions. Maybe I can even, expense out for some writer retreat sorta deal. I can get some time to really focus on it. But I'm gonna focus on you guys and focus on getting it done for you, not leave you hanging too long, and like I said, even though you might be waiting for a little while, I am gonna release short stories and other things in between now and then, so you won't be completely empty-handed. And those are free. Oh, and one more thing I should mention. If you join my author mailing list, you will also get a free book. It's a collection of short stories that I put out even before First Carrier. This collection of short stories is called Replicate, and it has 3 stories in it. One's featuring Survivor, one's featuring Ren, and one's featuring Castor. And the events in Replicate take place 10 years before the events in First Carrier. So a decade before the stuff going on in the first book. You get to see kind of their backstories and all that stuff that is, I think, adds value and adds meaning to who they are once the story starts. Nobody is slower than Stephen King when he first started Dark Tower. True story. Another good example. Mhm. I do love Stephen King. I've got to say, slow writer or not, he is a very fascinating dude. If anybody is into writing or like learning about writers and how we think, if you read his book On Writing by Stephen King, uh, it's intense. You go into a lot of his past of a lot of the bad stuff that he did for many years, and kind of where he got some inspiration for some of his horror. But yeah, it's a really cool book, and you get also some really legitimate writing tips, and it's a good book. Stephen King, good one to mention. Well, everybody, I have really enjoyed having you here. Again, for those who joined in a little late, look through the links in the chat. I've got some swag there, some digital swag items for you. There's a Spotify playlist that is all full of songs that I listened to on repeat when I was writing Blood for Blood. And then I've also got a desktop wallpaper that features the cover art of Blood for Blood for you guys if you're interested in that. It's cool cover art. And then we've also got the free ebook of First Carrier for you guys who showed up today. First Carrier is the first book in the series, so this way I hope you can get caught up on the events of the first book if you haven't already, and then you can read Blood for Blood right after. And one thing I'll do, just because I gotta say it, is if you guys read Blood for Blood or First Carrier, please review it somewhere. I appreciate it so much. It means so much to me, even if you just leave a little star review or the line, I liked it, or I didn't like it, it was terrible. Go ahead and leave that somewhere online. Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, all those places are awesome. And I'm a little indie author, so every single review really does mean a lot to me. It helps more than I can say. And if you get 5 minutes to do that after you read the book, I would so appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you for coming. And I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys to read this book. Email me anytime. There's also contact information in the book. So you can reach out to me on social media as well. I'm on Instagram, kind of on YouTube every once in a while. But you guys can reach out and ask questions about the characters, the series, my other writing stuff going on, whatever you want to ask. I will respond. So reach out if you forgot something during this live event and you want to ask me later, you can totally do that. All right, guys, make sure that you send me an email, prize winners. Email me, madeleinemozley@gmail.com. I'll put it in one more time, because I need your contact information. Ooh, I like that comment. Settled on Anna Taylor-Joy for itis. I like the way you think. She is a good actress. All right, so definitely, guys who won prizes, send me an email because I need your contact info. Otherwise, I'm going to keep your prizes. All right, guys, thank you for coming. I hope you have a wonderful Friday evening and a wonderful weekend. And pretty soon, I hope you have an awesome Thanksgiving if you're here in the States. All right, guys, take care. Thank you. Talk soon.